We are live. We made it. Me and my patrons, my patrons and I'm a writer, we all ran here fresh off of a live dissection, which is exclusively on patreon.com/justlatasha, to give you this, to join here for the post show. And this show is different because I am joined by some of my patrons on video who will also be sharing their opinions about Euphoria, the second season. So on Patreon, we just dissected the finale. So we're going to be talking about the finale tonight, as well as the overall season, get our general thoughts, some things we still want answered, and of course, some predictions for season 3, which we will not see until 2024. 2 years. It's a long time. I am your host, Just Latasha. Welcome to my patrons and everyone watching on YouTube. We are opening up this space. Let me see who we got back in here. Great name. Hello. Back here. Now, Rose. Come on now, girl. We here. All right. We here. I'm a tequila drinker myself, but I'm glad you're here. Let's bring the spirits, okay? Hey, Jasmine, what's up? We eating, we drinking, we doing it. Rose got things to say. Rose is going off in the chat on the Patreon dissection. So let's get into tonight. Elaine, thank you for staying up so late for me. I really appreciate it. As I've said, I've got some special guests here. I have some very special patrons joining me to give their opinions as well on Euphoria. So let's bring up the first one. We have Kenya Minia.
Hey guys. I know, a long time no see.
How are you? Look at all the beautiful artwork in your space.
Oh, thank you. This was the project for a long time, trying to figure out how to make it feel more homely.
Well, it actually does. It looks beautiful. I'm so excited to hear your opinions tonight because if I know, like anybody knows, you got them. We got somebody else here as well. We got the OG Khaled. What's going on, Khaled?
What up?
How are you? How you feeling? The hair is growing. The curls are popping. What is you, about a 3C curl pattern?
I think so, 3C, 3B, somewhere there. And my walls are bare, but I'm gonna get my shit together now that I see videos.
Look, Kenya got some stuff to lend, so all you gotta do is ask.
I got a whole bunch of leaves left over.
Well, here's where I want to start, you guys. And of course, if you're in the live chat, please feel free to join in on the conversation. We'll be talking to absolutely everyone, but I wanted to do something that I wasn't able to get to in the dissection. I want to talk about, let me see where it's at, Vexy. I want to talk about them because these two were on the phone all day. They were listening, or they were speaking about Little House on the Prairie, and they were talking about that. And I wanted to know what relevance Little House on the Prairie had with Euphoria, because Mr. Sam Levinson himself loves to do some stealing like an artist and incorporating storytelling parallels and mirroring and all of that. So I looked up Little House on the Prairie, and some of the themes explored in that story reminded me of something special. Let's see. We've got alcoholism, faith, poverty, blindness, and prejudice, as well as drug addiction, methamphetamine specifically, child abuse, and even SA. Sounds familiar? So how does a nice little family on a farm with some horses relate to Euphoria? Oh, with all of that, which I thought was very cool. Fez in this coupling doubts that he and Lexi even have anything in common, but she adds some perspective. She makes things like, oh, I think we can agree here or here or here. And it made me wonder, is this sort of mirroring Rue and Jules, who I personally feel don't even really know each other, similar to this image we saw, I believe it was season 2, episode 3, of these two blind people kissing. They can't even see who they're talking to, and they can't even see themselves. So I thought it was really interesting because they have their color themes looking exactly the same: black, white, yellow, and red. and putting these two up against each other. I love the way that they spent a full day on the phone together, literally from sun up, wake up to go to bed. They was on the phone. That was really cute. And something I also wanted to show here as well when it comes to Fez. Let me see if I can find it. Lord, all my stuff is all over the place. Where the hell is my photo? It's down here. No, it isn't. Oh my God. Y'all give me a second. Let me find it. Found it. In the night when Fez is at his happiest with Lexi on the phone, jonesing, thinking about the future, estimating some kids, talking Little House from the Prairie. He's getting ready to go to bed. It is darkness, but this is where he is happiest versus the daylight where he is going through the most traumatic experience ever. And how these two things are polar opposites, because as we've established in the color theory and the religious themes in Euphoria, Black usually represents the characters being in the depths of hell versus the light where they're accessing their euphoria. So the fact that two emotions are in opposing colors here is something that it's very, very, very intentional. Even when Fez is speaking to Lexi in this phone call, Lexi is often seen in blue or red. Maybe them liking each other, gravitating toward each other is sort of based off this fantasy that they're kind of forcing, right? Maybe he can't really have her. Maybe the reality is he's a drug dealer in a dangerous world, and this girl may have her whole life ahead of her. I even saw that it was a point for them to keep showing the text messages in their iPhones, that blue and white iPhone text message conversation. So their heaven, white, might be a fantasy blue. And Rue's voice goes over as we see Lexi and Fez engaging in each other, where she says, maybe losing you is a part of a larger story. So a question for everybody in the chat, a question for my patrons here joining me. Do we think Lexi and Fez are a good match, or is she simply dating a mirror of her father?
It's just tragedy.
Speak on it, friend.
I don't think she's dating a version of her father, but I do think that in this weird way, she's kind of metaphorically changing the access, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So like, for example, Fez is a drug dealer, her father is a drug user. Her other love in her life, which is Rue, is also a drug user. This might be a thing where the best way I could describe it is like that one movie, I think it's The Fault in Our Stars, where one of the characters puts a cigarette in their, oh, thank you. But one of the cigarettes, like one of the people put the cigarettes between their teeth and they have cancer, and they're like, you know, if you light it, you can't give it power, you know, in that type of way. So I think there's this almost like this disarming of like, well, maybe I can prevent this from moving on to this. If I understand it better, then maybe I can stop him from doing this, and in case stop him from supplying other people. Because there's also parallels between her and her sister Cassie, where Cassie is a people pleaser. She craves the love from men and stuff like that, whereas Lexi is not that way, as it would seem, but she does admire and emulate in a sense of her own sister. So in a way, she might be trying to be like, let me stop the flow of how drugs are being, you know, distributed and stuff like that. And so if I love Fesco, maybe I could pull him out of that in a way. I could change him.
Yeah. I think Cassie had a point where she said, it must be so easy for you because you sit back and watch, but I dare to live. And low-key, I kind of felt her on that. I'm sorry. I kind of felt her on that.
That's my daughter. Hold on.
Because you know why? Because there was this moment where Lexi be fronting a little bit. Like when she was in the mirror wishing she had titties. Come on, because Cassie's titties. Oh my God. Lexi was in the mirror wishing she had titties, and then when Cassie was like, "You ain't gonna get them," she was like, "Well, I don't even want titties. I'm smart." And like she did that little backhanded thing where like, yeah, I'm accepting myself. I don't even like approve of you actually. And it's just like, maybe you kind of do admire your sister. Maybe you kind of are jealous of the way she is brave enough to go make that mistake, go get hurt, go be a bad guy, even though she's delusional about it. But Lexi, when you finally start to date somebody or when somebody gives you attention, what kind of guy you got? Down shooting out the cops down in his house. That's your man. That's the one you chose. So one is dating a sociopath abuser and one is shooting up cops. Like what? Like, and it wasn't even him, it was his brother, but it was just like, I don't know. I guess I'm saying I don't know if Lexi's that far off from what she is judging. I think it's a little bit of front in there. Khaled, you feel anything?
Yeah, I don't think that she's essentially a version of her father. I think because I tried to rewatch as much as I can of the season, especially the first episode of the season, and you can tell that when they first, it's not the first time they meet, but it's the first time where they really interact, they really talk, because they've mostly been like a mutual friend through Rue, and you can just tell like the way that he's been like fascinated by her little tidbits, by her knowledge, and he even says like, "Oh, you're the coolest person in the whole party." I think she likes that somebody finds her fascinated because she's such a bystander, she's such an observer. So I think he's given her this attention, and I think she's, I guess, like reciprocating that she's trying to see like, oh, can I pursue this and essentially live a life outside of being my sister's shadow. So I think in a sense she wants a sense of, she wants to be wanted essentially.
No, I totally believe that. And I don't know if there's even, besides Ethan, I don't really know what the niggas is doing out there in Euphoria land. I don't really know what kind of guys is there to pull. But, even if Lexi is trying her best, I wonder if she's self-aware to be like, okay, well, I know Cassie's doing all that. I know Rue is doing all that. What am I doing? And like, if she's being real, I think she's one of the most real characters in this show. But I wonder if she can go a tad bit further with the self-awareness, because there's still some areas where she doubts herself. Even when Rue is speaking to her in her bedroom, she's just like, you know what to do with that darkness. You know what to do with the wound. And Lexi's like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And it's just like, she kind of doubts herself in these ways where she can really like just step into it. Know thyself. Adisa says color mirroring in the clothing, as well as orange shirt at night representing his internal happiness, whereas during the day, his darkness, criminal activity is brought to light. He is in all black. Adisa, you better fucking dissect. I know that's right. Let me look at it again, because yes. Ooh, who he wants to be in the night versus who he has to be in the day. Adisa, you A+. That was fire. Jalen, hello. Something about her telling Lexi that she hasn't really lived, or something along those lines, is kind of interesting. Interesting by true. QTNA, where's all the school staff? Where are the Euphoria teachers? Where's the principal? Who is it? Oh man, Neek says, Khaled, that was a great point. Where's the drama teacher, baby? Where's the drama? We don't need no teacher if the girls are bringing it like this, okay? And DJ says Fez cares about her. Love how her brain works. Loves her potential. Fez wants to be Little House on the Prairie. He didn't want this life, just dealing with it. Say that. Well, let's move on to another topic. I want to talk about Cassie versus Lexi, because Lexi was really worried about hurting feelings, but maybe, as Fez said, sometimes people's feelings need to be hurt. Rue was like, well, isn't it a good thing? Would you rather me be mad and Cassie be happy? Like, she needs to take a good long look at the girl in the mirror. Maybe, okay. So what do we think Lexi's goal in exposing her sister specifically in the play, and did it work? How do we feel, friends?
Intention versus impact.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I mean, I gotta hold 10 toes down for my daughter. That's my daughter. Okay, Lexi, she did what she had to do. Okay, now was she right? Maybe not. I have to look the other way.
But doesn't matter.
That's my daughter. I would stand beside her as a good mother should. But I would say, I think it's one of those situations where you hold a mirror to someone and you're like, look how crazy you look. Like look at yourself right now. Now, do you need to do it in front of the whole school? I don't think so. But then again, the school kind of knows how your sister is. And I think the play kind of gave us more insight on how their relationship works. Because I'm going to just say, to me, Cassie does not seem like a good older sister. She's kind of in her own, she's kind of in her own head. And so she's very like, a lot of times where Lexi needs that comfort from Cassie, Cassie does not provide it. And I think it's stated later in the episode. I don't know if it was part of the play or wasn't, but like it was just stated later in the episode that that Lexi is brought up to comfort everyone else. She's kind of forced to do that. And so I think there's so much coddling with Cassie's character where it's like, you're so pretty. Oh, we love you. You don't mean to do these things. But as we see with the season going on, she is not only doing these things because she needs the love and attention herself, but she doesn't at this point care about what anybody else, like what she's going to lose in return. And so I think what Lexi is trying to do is like, hey, you're destroying your loves because of one dude who made fun of you for your whole life, and you're not looking at it. And I think that just really shows how Lexi is trying to get through to her sister in that sense. Now, did it work? I don't know. Cassie is pretty. She down. I've never seen someone so down like that. But
yeah, down bad. Really, really spiraling into her delusion. What a messy thing to watch. As people are saying in the chat, we here for the mess. Callie, what's your take on Lexi's intention with the show? Do you think she hit it, or did she kind of miss the mark?
I don't know particularly what her intention is other than trying to speak her piece and trying to be seen. I think if you bring it back to when her mother says that, she's the one that has to clean up everybody else's mess, has to be there to support everybody else.
Like Gia, kind of, right?
Yeah, and I think when you're in that position, you also get overlooked. Like, even though you're the one being the glue for everybody else, so she's trying to, help Rue. She's trying to help her sister. She often gets overlooked, and she wants to be like, she wants her actions and what she's done for others to be seen. She wants everybody to, I guess, recognize like she's integral. I can't even say the word. Integral to just to everybody else's life as well. And I think she, especially with Benya saying that her and her sister's relationship is pretty fragmented, I think this is pretty much the only way for her to truly get her sister to hear her, where she's, every time you see her trying to just converse with Cassie, it's like, leave me alone, lock myself in the bathroom, can I use the bathroom? No, get out. Like, I think this is the only way for her to finally speak to Cassie.
Yeah, and the thing about people who, Cassie uses love in the way that Rue uses drugs. You can't infiltrate somebody who is so steadfast in what they think they need to heal them. If Cassie is running away from the wound of her father, she is going to dive head first, no matter how traumatic, no matter how unsafe, no matter how emotionally volatile. We've seen her with McKay. That was a terrible relationship. And whoever existed before McKay and leaked her sex tape, she's been getting harmed in romance in such dramatic and extravagant ways. And it still doesn't put the brakes on for her. Like Ali said to Rue, you're gonna have to find your own hope. It don't matter who comes in the dock to save you. You've got to be your own bell tower, right? So let's see what y'all saying in the chat. I didn't even realize it till this season Cassie was older because Lexi's so mature. I swear I felt like this. I was like, who's the youngest sister? What was that? What was said? That caught me off guard. Hello, Jodana. Lexi feels like the white woman who throws the rock and hides her hand. I understand drawing from other people's experiences. However, she knew how it would make them feel and played innocent. Who else has done that? Possibly her sister? Uh-oh. Cassie is still failing to see where she was wrong. This play was a mirror and everyone was able to see themselves and their flaws except her. What we spoke about in the Patreon exclusive dissection, which you guys can find the video. I saw some people asking for the video link. Patreon.com/JustLatasha to access the live show that happened previously to this one. God, what was I even going to say? I don't even know. Yeah, sorry, forgot the thought. I'm going to move on. And I say, as someone who's like, who is like Lexi, but she needs to not play like she didn't know what she was doing. What exactly was Lexi's intentions? BS. Keeping it in the horse family, like Little House on the Prairie. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make them drink. It doesn't matter the help you try to give. Like Rue's mom, who's tried love, fighting, cursing, intimidation, rehab, prayer. Rue's gonna do drugs. Cassie's going to love. Like, and that's really just is what it's going to be. What it's going to be. Y'all being hella funny in this chat. You thought the intentions was to embarrass her sister. Cassie would have been willing to admit a few things before Lexi's play could have any real effect, and she's simply not there. She's simply not there, and she's not going to get there. What I thought was interesting was Maddie forgiving after beating her ass, which I was surprised that she did. But Maddie forgave Cassie, all the girls sitting in the bathroom, cleaning themselves up, and then Maddie even giving Cassie advice. Girl, that's just the beginning. If you messing with Nate, that's just the beginning. Being a bell tower for Cassie, doing you wrong, the ultimate Judas, the betrayal. How we feeling, y'all?
See, I didn't take it as that. I took
it
like, I feel like, well, I am like 4 years removed from high school, but that fight was like, I've seen some shit. Now I wish they would have made it a tad bit longer, but you know, we can't have everything we want. But I figured that Maddie was kind of just like, all right, beat your ass. This is it. And I'm leaving. Like, you know, good luck, whatever the fuck you're trying to do. And I just even think, like, when she said this is only the beginning, it was kind of just to give her like a, you've seen me go through this and you want to act surprised, you want to act shocked. Good luck. So I took it as like Maddie just being like, this is the truth, here it is, this is what you wanted to take from me so bad.
Zylan agrees. I took it as, girl, you wanted him, now deal with the consequences.
Yeah. I don't think she wanted to make up with her, because I think she would have been like, I think Maddie has shown that she's very sweet and she's very like, okay, I'll give you a hug. But what did Nate say about Maddie? She is a very loyal person, but Maddie's also she has a lot of issues. She's traumatized. And I think for Maddie, when she is such a loyal person, you cross her, she's going to bury you, and she's going to make sure that she does that, and she won't forgive you. So I think in that sense, with Cassie crossed the line with her. And so she's like, no, we're not friends anymore. And this is what you deserve. So
That's so interesting. And I didn't see it that way because number one, the beating stopped. Even after Miss Vicky or BB or whatever her name was like, Cassie, get her girl. She stole your man, beat her ass. But they all still came back together in the bathroom and was so calm and so collected that Cassie had a moment of transparency and vulnerability and told them, confided in them, her girls, and saying, y'all know he dumped me right before, like before I even did all that, he dumped me. And Maddie was like, yeah, huh? But the fact that Maddie was just focused on like not humiliating you, not driving it home, not being like, bitch, cunt. Maddie was just like, I'm gonna fix my foot real quick and like, girl, if you shocked, that's the starting point. So maybe it wasn't forgiveness, but it was like sort of like it's good. Like there's no more of that visceral hate. I'm going to come after you. It was like, let's just sit and settle and what happened. And Cassie like confided in them still after her head smashed into the brick wall.
but she still didn't apologize. That's the crazy part. She still is like, oh yeah, he like, he broke up with me and this is it. But she never said to Maddie, I'm sorry for like all this shit.
But that's how
So
I felt with Rue and Jules. Like it wasn't any words said and it wasn't even necessary. It's like, I'm gonna kiss you on your forehead. All is forgiven, but there's nothing to say. Like I'm just going to go. I don't have anything to give you. I don't have any advice. I don't have any closure, but we good. Like we good.
yeah.
And Rue was just like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think she forgave her fully. I think she's just done with I think especially she's really done with Nate. I think especially after the whole gun situation, I think she really realizes like this is not who I should be fighting or oppressed over. So I think she's done with Nate. She may be done with Cassie, maybe not. But I'm taking it as we may never find out because I'm under the impression that next season, I think they've implied that Maddie's like going away. I think she's like graduated because I think when Rue said like I've been clean the rest of the school year, I think season 3 is gonna start in the next year, and I think the upperclassmen have already graduated by now. So I think we might not even see Maddie reconcile with Kat. I think Maddie might be done. Maddie might be gone from all this toxicity. So I don't know. This is my prediction on season 1.
Yeah, people are estimating that there's going to be a time jump with Euphoria. I don't know how real that is. I know we're not coming back to the characters until 2024. I don't even know what everybody's going to look like. They already full adults. They're going to look adult terror. So I'm interested to see how they're all even going to come back and play high school kids. I don't know if they're going to do a la Saved by the Bell college years. I don't know what's going to go on, but we coming back in 2 years and so much could change unless in Sam's universe he's going to freeze time and pick up where we left off. That will definitely be interesting to see. You guys are all saying as well that this is not forgiveness. She's just over it. She's putting it down. I did like what I saw a comment. I can't find it now, but Elaine said Cassie accidentally saved Maddie. Here it goes. Cassie was Maddie's accidental savior from the hell of Nate. And I love that you said that because this is exactly what Rue says to Elliot. You accidentally saved my life. In season 2, episode 1, Maddie was confiding in Jules saying, I can't help it. I'm going to go back to him. I know I'm going to go back. I can't help it. And even Jules saying like, don't do that. Maddie was gearing up. She got the flowers. They meeting up down to the mansion where that weird older woman Samantha's creeping on Maddie in a closet. We ain't talk about that, did we, Sam? But we saw Maddie for the first half of the season really gearing up to get back with this guy, and Cassie was the curveball that was like, oh nah. Like the gun on the face as well. So creeping into the house and sneaking in the closet as well. Very much like I think I'm cool off this. But I love that comment because that definitely solidifies these themes of grace and forgiveness and being a really flawed, effed up character. What crosses the lines of forgiveness versus what do we provide grace for? And as to River Power says, apologize for what they done. All right, you ain't yell at me. So here's something that I showed in our Patreon exclusive dissection, and I want us to talk about what we think this story parallel is. So here, all the way to the left, we have Cassie hiding from Maddie in the bathtub, upside down. To Rue, on the top photo is her memory from being a child when she's high in her room visiting her father and has this memory versus her mother washing her hair in season 1. And then, of course, the final shot of the season, Ashtray shooting the cops down from the bathtub. And these bathtubs are all like these visual moments that seem to tie up the story in separate ways. But I wanted to hear how you guys think the bathtub represents the cohesive storytelling of Euphoria and the characters.
I think the bathtub is a sense of protection. But basically, in Ashtray's sense, where he's hiding in there to avoid bullets, Cassie's hiding in there to avoid Maddie, to be protected from her catching her. And then I think just taking a bath is very, especially if it's her parent breathing you, it's you feel protected, you feel it's just a sense of warmth. And I think in general it's just that's what I think.
I could feel that. I could feel that. It's sort of protection and really saving yourself in a moment of this sort of desperation or someone else coming to cover you. What were you going to say, Kenya?
Well, I also think that the bathroom, but particularly the tub, it's used for cleansing yourself and returning to like a new, so like a cleaner version of yourself. But also is where you're at your most vulnerable. Like you're in the bathroom. I don't think anybody's thinking about like, I gotta have all these guns with me because someone's about to break into my house. Like that is like the worst fear for someone to go to the bathroom thinking they're gonna wash their hands or take a shower or like, use the bathroom, and they're just like, I gotta be on guard. Them cops is just gonna do a raid. Like it's a very vulnerable place for you because your guard is completely let down, And for Rue, there's many times where she is being taken care of in the bathroom, sometimes by people who actually genuinely love her, but then sometimes by people who don't like have any good intentions for her, which is like someone like Laurie, who is who's cleaning her, but also in a way prepping her in a sense for whatever Laurie was gonna do, whatever Sam was like trying to allude to. But for Ashtray, he uses it as a fortitude, which is like, okay, this is my only sense. And I think it's such an interesting thing because Rue uses it as vulnerability. Ashtray is using it as a necessity and a almost like a shield from himself and another place, and just a protective shield, which I'm still kind of sad about that scene.
Yeah, we lost a soldier.
Like
we lost a real one.
But I'll tell you, Ashtray, he scared me though. I'm not gonna lie. I was afraid of Ashtray for the majority of the season.
Ashtray good with a headbutt. Okay, don't run on him. He clocking you in your noggin. You understand? Like he's clocking you.
I felt like
your noggin.
You look at Fez the wrong way, it's over for you. It's over.
I can't. I want to see what y'all are saying in the chat as well. The shakedown to get Rue to strip when she first went to Laurie's house. The bathtub is supposed to be a place of safety, but really wasn't for Cassie, Rue, and Ash because of their own poor decisions. Maybe like how you would hide under the bed in fear. Oh, I really love that. I really love that. And you guys are also saying it's giving rebirth and return to innocence. I saw a comment that I really liked that was about cleansing yourself, and the thematic parallels of, cleansing the sins, washing the sins away. But my hot take is that we're still playing with the ideas of life and death. Where is my bathtub photo? We're still kind of playing with the ideas of life and death. So here is my hot take, because Cassie was on this death run, episode 1 of season 2, from Maddie, because Nate specifically told her, she gonna mess me up, but she's gonna kill you. And so when she's banging down the door, Cassie is like, I am going to die. Versus Rue, we often see images of Rue in the bathtub when she's high. And we know that her being high serves as sort of this spiritual plane to where she can access her father, the memories of her father. With her eyes closed, I'm going to see you there. And it's described as this place where Rue is riding right between life and death. Her mother washing her hair, bringing her back to life. She remembers seeing her father as a baby, kind of easing towards the death, or having that wound of his death. And of course, Ashtray in the bathtub, where he's choosing his own death. And it's sort of making that decision for himself, where Fez says, I got it. I'm going down. I'm hanging myself on the cross for you. And Ashtray says, no. That's what I got from it. But I definitely think it could be all of these, especially the cleansing of the sins, washing yourself, the vulnerability, the protection. I think all of that can absolutely get up in the bathtub, and it definitely could mean all of that. Do we feel like we're clear on why Ashtray went totally rogue in this finale? For me, I'm still kind of questioning it. I'm not quite sure why Ashtray, he started off the season with the murder, he ended this season with the murder, and then chose his own fate, sort of. I was like, and I know I want him to stay just because I love the character. But as like a human 12-year-old boy, why did he totally sacrifice himself that way? Death is better than bondage, niggas.
I felt like maybe he was scared of like actually leaving how he was kind of just brought up. Like I think there's a sense where Ashtray knows he knows that he's not well, in the sense of like how he was brought up and how he was raised. He doesn't know how to do normalcy. And there's also that real fear of, I'm going to go into the system and I'm going to be away from Fez. And, if you really think about it, like away from the drugs and the dealing and stuff, do you see Ashtray going to school?
No.
Do you see him like doing things that normal kids do at his age? I don't know if he's supposed to be like a teenager with the rest of the other teens, or he's supposed to be legit like 12 or something, but Ashtray ain't at like the playground. He's literally slinging drugs for his nana. Like he's like, I'm trying to pay my mortgage. Like I just can't do what normal kids are doing. And I think that's just that fear and panic. And I think he really thought in his head that he could win this. And he forgot that you're a child. Like that moment where we see him, he's like, the return back to like, oh shit, this is real. This is not a game anymore. Like, I'm not going to get out of this. And he also has that adrenaline. So he's like, I could do anything. But I think it's just that fear. Fear makes you do crazy stuff. Like it overrides your rational thinking. It just takes into high gear what you're feeling, and that higher level of cortisone, which is the stress level, hormone, whatever. That's gonna make you feel like, okay, I gotta do everything I gotta do. I mean, we've seen multiple times throughout the seasons how fear navigates for these characters. Episode 5 with Rue has that fear of like, I owe this lady money. I also don't got my drugs. And her screaming and looking underneath the, underneath the mattress and throwing shit and stuff like that. That wasn't gonna help her find that damn suitcase, but in her mind, she's like, I gotta throw this nightstand because I gotta find it. So I think fear really does play a part with these characters and how it overrides their thinking, their rational thinking. So for him, he's just like, maybe I'll win this, maybe I won't. Like, he's just playing a gamble.
He's been pretty successful this far. He done beat Cal in the head. He done beat Mouse in the head. He done beat the other guy in the neck. So he's three. He was 3 for 3. Now 3 for 19 cops at the door. The odds was off, and that's because the baby's not in math class. Okay, the odds was off. They all kids. The tattoo on his face says it all. What does it say? I saw the diamond on Ashtray's face, but I didn't notice much else. Amira, we definitely spoke about this in our Patreon dissection as well. I noticed Rue mentions that she was in the hall when her dad died, and the same is true for Fez now with Ash. I wonder if in trying to free him, Ash has now trapped Fez in his own personal hell. Well, let's go back. Let's visit the hallway. Whose hallway we in? Let me see. This may not be the right one. I can't see y'all, so I might click the wrong photo first. Yeah, that's the wrong one. Y'all, I cannot see. We ain't got it. Sorry. Because I can't see where my photos are. My eyes are so bad. Yeah, never mind. We might get back. We might not. But exactly, that's exactly what the parallel of that, where Rue's wound in losing her father is similar now to the wound created in Fez, where he loses Ashtray down a hallway, and it becomes symbolic in that way of sort of like this gravesite where someone that you love physically dies, but it's also where a piece of you dies as well. And the fact that it's in their home where they have to reside, so that wound is in the body and you're carrying it around, that's a lot. That really is a lot. Khaled, did you have any hypotheses on Ashtray's decision to do his big war against the police? Khaled?
I don't know the specific reason for. Oh, am I good? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I good? Okay. I don't know the specific reason why he might have done it. Maybe it was just he wanted to go out like a G. But I think I want to go back to the point where he's a kid. Essentially, yes, he is a kid, but also if you take it back to the season premiere, where the grandmother would always bring Fez to her meetings, and she would say, that's not a kid, that's my business partner. And then Fez did the same thing with Ashtray. He would say, that's not a kid, that's my business partner. Ashtray's never been a kid. And then in the final scene where Fez is like, oh, he's just a kid. He's finally being called a kid, and it's like it's too late. He's grown up, not living as a kid, not going to school, trying to pay off his mortgage. But I think, even though Fez sees him as a little brother, he's never been treated like a kid. So I think he hasn't, and kids typically don't go balls out and try to shoot back at the cops. So I think he's just been in that mentality. He's in that grown mentality.
Absolutely. I finally found what you guys were speaking about, and yes, the hallway, the grave sites, the site of the wound, right? And Fez has sort of been acting Christ-like, specifically in this last episode, sacrificing himself as he has for so many characters, and sort of picking up the wound that Rue put down, specifically in this finale. So great catch. That's exactly the parallels we wanted to point out. Let me see what y'all are saying about it. Yep, Fez's bullet was from Ash, sort of like really picking up that wound, falling on the sword for Ash, right? Even if it was usually when characters get physically hurt, the way Cal was bashed in the head by Ashtray, because there's a bigger emotional wound going on. And so he pierces a piece of his body as he's losing a piece of himself when Ashtray is going down in that bathroom. Absolutely.
I think the
Yes,
same
CJ, that's,
also. I
say that
don't
again.
want to. I don't want to interrupt. I think the same can be applied for when in Fez's flashback, where the grandmother was hitting that guy with the crowbar, and then she accidentally hit him as well. I found there's a parallel between the grandma hitting him and then Ashtray shooting him.
Woo! Oh, when they both hurt Fez by accident.
Yeah.
You can also apply that to Rue as well. Like Rue hurt Fez too. Like all these people he's protected have hurt Fez in some type of way.
Yeah.
And it is kind of like Christ-like, where Christ has sacrificed himself for a lot of his disciples and his followers and people who are not his followers. And there's Judas. 12 silvers or 9 silvers. I don't remember the story. But like there's that thing where people constantly say, you know, in Christian communities and also in Catholic communities, like Christ, Jesus died for our sins. And so he sacrificed himself. So I think with Fez constantly getting hurt and like sacrificing his own well-being and almost getting caught in like death itself or something similar, you know, for these people, and yet receiving nothing in return. I think it's very telling of his character. And also the fact that in the same story where Christ is holding the crucifix going up, y'all could tell that I was like a Catholic child, that I went to Catholic school.
Been there.
But like when he's walking up, you know, holding the crucifix, he is getting beaten, he is getting hurt, he was beaten before receiving the crucifix. So it's this tale of this Christ-like figure just getting literally beaten up just to save everyone else. It's very it put Fez through a lot.
Yeah. That's heartbreaking. That is such an incredible observation. I totally forgot Grandma, the motherfucking G, who accidentally hit Fez in the head, which is Ashtray's go-to attack for everybody. And then ultimately pays in his demise. As CJ was saying, Ash uses one trick to solve every problem, and as he's learned, that's not the best. That's not the best. Fez can't get out from under. Custer's last stand did them all in. He need new friends. He gotta blow this joint. He gotta leave town. Him and Faye riding that Cadillac together into the sunset, please. And Faye won me over because I was really like, get this girl out this house. Get this girl out the house. But she held it down.
You know what? I take back the flipper comment that I said last week. I take it back. Did what she had to do.
Me too. She turned it. QTNA things that I saw on Twitter. Laurie should have been waiting for Rue outside. Ruby Bennett, why don't you come with me? Now that would have been an ending I'm waiting 2 years for season 3 anyway. But that would have been an ending. Rue got her little perfect ass little monologue and a voiceover. You know, maybe I'll see a new sunny goddamn day. And Laurie's outside like.
I seen someone post the Arthur like walking meme, and I was like, "Yeah, Rue walking out there like it's a wonderful kind of day." Nobody's my way. Like Laurie's waiting for you, girl. She know your government day
at the door. Okay, she like, waiting for you at the door. Where are you walking to? Confident and comfortable.
I was so scared. Like I was like, she gonna get snapped. That's
now, from a writer's standpoint. Nice setup for season 3 because we want to answer this question, but the way that we didn't see Laurie at all. But here's the thing for me, that Laurie really does play the long game. Even giving Rue that suitcase, she was like, She gonna lose it. I'll wait about 2 months until she can't pay. Like Laurie, she got patience. The way she speaks, the way she moves, very slow, meticulous, calculated. I even think her stabbing Rue incorrectly with the methamphetamine in the bathtub. I even think that was intentional, and she's kind of blaming Rue and can't find the spot. Like everything she does is slow and that long game. So she's probably gonna sit cool until Rue get comfortable. Pull up on her 19th birthday. Pull up on her her night because maybe now it's just regular trafficking, and now it ain't child trafficking.
I mean,
That's regular trafficking now. Take a few years off the bid.
I totally agree with you about Laurie. She does play the long game. Even the point about like the stabbing with the needle, I think she did that on purpose to give Rue like a mark, basically like the trap. Like, forgot what it's called, but it's when drug addicts, especially when it comes to like intravenous or like any type of drugs that involve needles, there's that thing about like tracks you can see on their arms or wherever they're poking themselves, and that is visible to people to let them know like this person, is obviously struggling. And I think she does that on purpose because she knows that if Rue is more believable as someone who does this, there is a way to alienate and also make Rue appear as someone who is very, down in the dumps like that. So it's sad. It's like I'm scared for Rue. I'm scared for her family. I'm scared for them kids. Yeah. I'm scared for everyone because if she knows Rue, she might even know the whole friendship tree. Like, I don't know. Laurie seems to be the type of person like, oh, Rue's cute. You know who else is cute? Her little friend Lexi. You know who else is cute? Maddie. I can get some
now. See, this is where my Gia theory came from, because I was like, Laurie don't care. And it'll be Rue's fault that she is in debt $10K minimum. Because now there's probably a fee since you made me wait. So I don't put it past. Gia made it out this season safely. I was scared because they was putting so much attention on Gia. I was like, are they trying to make us emotionally bond to her so they can rip her away? They did off with another baby. All right. But I was really worried for Gia for a second because Laurie's gonna get that money. Okay. And y'all live in the same town. Yeah. You think she can't find you? Oh my God. Laurie probably got raided. So that's another 10K Rue. Since you want to start problems and snitch. No, but Fez dumped the phone, so I don't even think that confession even still.
Well, it depends.
Yeah, was that live or was it a recording?
Yeah, I don't know if it was only feeding into the phone or feeding back into police custody. I don't know.
Because that starts a whole new problem for Fez. Because say Fez goes to jail, Laurie's a distributor. She got people. She got connections. I'm scared for Fez. I'm scared for everyone.
I am scared. I want to ask another question that I saw on Twitter too. Every time Jules tells Rue she loves her, I roll my eyes. Sorry. How do we feel about the reality that Jules and Rue were in love? Or was it real? Were they fever dreaming? Were they both living in these high ass delusions? Jules tells Rue, after all is said and done, I love you. Do it hit?
I mean, beautiful gowns. Beautiful gowns. These are kids.
Eventually they will. Yeah, like I feel like they're too young to know what love is. Like, I think down the line, I definitely see them being, but
yeah, y'all heard my opinions on the Patreon show. I vote no. I don't see it. I don't see it for the girls.
They're definitely in love with the idea of each other. I think that is true. I think this was the most honest we've seen Rue when she said, I was too high for any of it, so I don't even know if I know what it is. But I think there is affectionate and there is like care and care and love for the friendship, I think. Because Jules does worry for Rue. I mean, we got it through her special that like Jules is very much in the sense that Rue is someone that she wants to keep in her life and that she loves dearly as like my friend, even if we're not together, like you always hold a special place in my heart. So when she tells Rue, like, I love you, it may not be like the girlfriend type of like, oh, I'm in love with you, but it's the I love you as a person. I know you as you can be very sweet when you want to be sweet. And I know that this disease that you have, this drug addiction that you have, this isn't you. You know, I may have met you like that, but I've seen you sober. So I think that she really does love like what the potential that Rue can be. And Rue loves Jules in the sense of like you are almost like a savior, but also someone that when you first met me, you didn't see all the baggage. You didn't see all my faults, you know? And so I think that's what they're attaching to each other. But as far as like in love romantically, y'all are kids, finish high school. I know you're not going to college. And I know you're not going to school like that. So
That's what CJ says. Like Jules said it again in the auditorium. I thought, okay, now you're just saying it just to say it, just a little bit. You're just saying it just to say it.
Yeah.
The way Rue mirrors Lexi and Cassie's father is the way that Rue mirrors Jules' mother. I remember in the Jules special episode, you know, during the pandemic, there was this sequence where Jules and her father drive to go visit her mother in rehab, or she's in the car or something, and then that transforms into Jules carrying a very high Rue back home. And what makes you love Rue so much is because she in the sickness that you're familiar with, in that emotional unpredictability and chaos that you're familiar with, she was the one, unlike your mother, who loved you back instead of abandoning you. So you had that taste, you had that little drop of euphoria, and now you're doing anything to hold on for it, even if it's not good for you, even if it don't make sense, even if you are deluding yourself that this is love. Rue is actually the one making the healthiest decision, which is leaving this and letting it be. I just want to remember who I think I thought you were, instead of who you actually might be, because I don't even know. The fact that Rue is the one that's making that decision and Jules is still in it. She is still in that delusion. I thought that was really, really, really interesting. Um, Jules thinks she loves Rue, but I don't think either of them knows what that is. She just met Rue for real in the play. Right. And seeing her in that space and really just kind of acknowledging, wow, that's your story. That's how you feel. And Rue didn't go to Jules and say, hey, this is me. This is how I feel. This is what I've been dealing with all this time. She went to Lexi and did it. Send Jules 2 kisses on the head, hit it with the ashtray, bow, I'm out of here. Got up out of there. Real quick, before we wrap up for tonight, I thank everyone who is here. I definitely thank my patrons, Benia and Khaled, for joining me tonight. Last question of the night, and this is for everybody. Do we think Rue will stay clean? And I wanted to show this photo. Shout out to Ellie Luna, who's also a patron, who says, yeah, when Rue said I stayed clean till the end of the school year, I was like, damn, more turbulence ahead, a relapse for sure. Do we think there'll be a relapse for Rue season 3?
I hate to say it.
Say it!
I especially because I don't know. In that same sentence, she said, "Not by choice." So I feel like if you can't be sober at your own accord, you'll never truly. I'm not saying you'll never truly, but I think you'll never truly you never truly want to be clean for yourself, and it's just not going to be effective. And I think I think it'll get worse before it gets better. To be honest, like I feel like it's however many seasons we get of the show, I cannot see Rue being queen for all of it. I think it'll be until the very end where we're gonna see her get her life together.
Okay, Kenny, take a stab at it.
I feel like with Rue, she still has a lot to like. She still has a long journey, um, and I think what really speaks to it is the fact that in her monologue to herself, but to also to the audience, she says, "I stayed clean till the end of the school year, not through my choice." So like again, the thing that they say a lot in like NA, and I have like personal experience with it because I had a family member who was very much like Rue. Um, you have to want it. Like you can try to take that person to, go get the help that they need. You can hold interventions all you want. The person has to want it. And at some point, you know, it's up to them if they're really going to want to live. And for Rue, there's this thing where she does have a mental illness. She's also very, I think she tells the truth when she says she's suicidal. So she has to learn how to grapple with those things in her life, how to deal with these emotions and find coping mechanisms other than drugs to kind of not only keep herself alive, but also see that there's hope for her and that she can believe in her own self. I wonder if the show's ever gonna go into like the conversation of harm reduction, because the truth is not everybody stays sober for the rest of their lives. Some people, when they are very deeply into drugs, especially when it comes to drugs that are like intravenous and stuff like that. I don't know how it is for opioids, but I know that there is a thing called the opioid antagonist shot where someone gets a depot shot every single month to basically they can't get high. But that within itself is kind of like a drug. And then there's also methadone that people are on as well, because it does alter how you view things and it does alter your brain. So I wonder if the show's ever going to go through that. And it would be interesting if that's Rue's journey. So I think that's my answer.
All right. Well, I showed this image. Go ahead, Khaled.
I said come through with the knowledge because I didn't know about none of that.
I'm sitting here learning like drugs. Well, I made drugs sound delicious just now, and that's not the sound I was supposed to make. I'm surprised at my patrons because y'all know better than this. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. No, I this is for my patrons exclusively. I'm going to show y'all an image. And I'm surprised I didn't hear it when I showed it in our private exclusive dissection in our last episode. I'm going to show y'all an image. This is specifically for my patrons who knows what the F going on around here. I'm going to show y'all the final shot of the show. And I want y'all to tell me, will Rue stay clean? Y'all ready?
It's over for our girl.
What happened, Daniel? Why you say that?
I'm sorry.
What happened? Tell them what happened.
I forgot. Oh my God. It's the damn blue again. But does that mean she's lying to us? I'm so confused.
Yellow, for people that are unfamiliar with the color theory of Euphoria, yellow means honesty, telling the truth, true identity, and blue means a facade, a mask, and a lie. Now, I said when she was leaving, I was like, what time is it? When she's walking out this play, like, what time is it? Okay, but it's still
because there is bits of yellow there.
Yeah.
So I think she wants to believe.
Yeah.
She wants to be like, I want to get clean, but
yeah. And and this is not a definite answer. This absolutely can be a misdirect. You know, I shot fires throughout my dissection of the series and missed. So I leave it open. However, Elliot is coming back season 3. And if Rue has decided she is not going to stay friends with this person, I kind of wonder what his effect will be on the world and where they're put him and what his purpose is when he has purely been Rue's permission to be an addict. He's been her shadow. He's been her reflection. So as we're leaving the series and Elliot and the drugs are in yellow, and Rue choosing sobriety and freedom is in blue. I just wonder. I saw that final shot and I said, "Oh hell!" Oh, here we go.
Well, she could also be lying about like feeling good about being sober. Like,
okay,
I want to have hope. So she could be saying like, you know, she's telling everybody like, I feel better, you know, and this and that or whatever, you know, because it was kind of hopeful where she says, I don't know how long this feeling will last, but maybe she's like, yo, I'm in hell, but I gotta do what I gotta do. So I want to have faith. I'm going to choose blind faith. I don't care.
I'm going to choose faith because if Coleman's Amigo come across my screen again, we going to have a problem. Oh, I'm going to get on my knees, all right? Thank you to my patrons for joining me this evening. The final dissection of season 2, Euphoria. Thank you to Benny and thank you to Khaled. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you to all my patrons. I will be dissecting Atlanta season 3 coming out Thursday, March 24th. If you are a patron, or anyone watching, please drop in the chat what day would make the most sense. It comes out on a Thursday. I believe we should keep it here Monday nights. That does create quite a bit of distance between the show and us speaking about it. But Thursday is basically the weekend and it's getting warm out and I know we're going to be outside. So let me know in the chat when y'all want that to be. Any last thoughts before we step out, my beautiful, wonderful patrons?
Y'all be safe because, you know, we still in a panty. So wear your mask. Even if they say take it off, don't do it. Wear your mask.
That's it. Khaled, any last words?
Happy Black History Month. That's it.
Good enough for me. Thank you guys, everyone, for watching. Please do not leave without subscribing. Thumbs up this video. That helps me a million as a creator. And I am on social media, Just Latasha on Twitter, Just Latasha 404 on Twitter, Just Latasha on Instagram. If you guys want to see my work, my scripts, my log lines, justlatasha.com. And I just won the Red List today for my screenplay. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Thank you to everyone. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Who gave me all the congrats on social media. I really appreciate it. That's about it. Yeah, we out of here, baby. Bye, y'all.